a major frustration that I have when I get people who message me and they say, well, I'm being censored on Facebook, I'm being censored on usually maybe one of these other mainstream apps, but especially Facebook, sometimes YouTube. And I see creators that are much larger than me that say, oh, I'm getting censored on YouTube, is that they're often not willing to take an active step and decide, oh, I'm going to break with this technology. I'm going to go find something that maybe it doesn't give me all the tools and capabilities and connections that I'm used to using over here, but at least I have the space and freedom in order to develop whatever sort of reach that I want, right? So I've started using in my own personal life Facebook almost not at all, right? Only when I get home, I'll check if there were any people who messaged me. I don't post any new posts. I rarely, if ever, comment, and I don't really like or give any other reactions to other people's posts. And it's largely been a positive experience for me because in the end, much of people's dedication to actually interacting through Facebook has become, I think, self-dooming. I don't know how else to put it. It is an exercise in failure, right? Because all of the different interactions and impressions that you're giving to Facebook and Twitter don't really go to building you as whether it's a brand or as a personality, unless you're willing to comply with a set of rules that the people who own the platform ultimately decide without your input and without any consumer, consumer opinion making, right? They have already decided, they meaning the Facebook higher ups, and certainly maybe a few people in middle management, along with members of Congress like Ted Deutsch, along with people who are stakeholders, large investors, along with other tech companies. They've decided what parameters of conversation you can have on Facebook. And that you have come out and said, well, this is frustrating to me. I always thought that this was a platform where I can connect with people that are like-minded, that we share interests with. I can make jokes. I can post memes. I can put. And this morning, someone said to me, "Oh, I can't put GIFs anymore because I am a conservative." Well, it doesn't even have to be based on ideology anymore. They have monitored whatever you're saying, and they've decided that your personality and the opinions that you hold mean that the things that you share are generally not really things that they want to promote, that they want on their website. So they've made a decision that your experience on the website will be as limited as possible. People's experience of you on the website will be as limited as possible. And you're part of an underclass that's not going to gain any more power within their platform as much as they can help it, right? You can do anything you want. You can create burner accounts. You can do splash pages and all sorts of things like that. The bottom line is that on these websites that are part of the big tech monopolies, part of the big tech universe, you are increasingly a person who is told to listen instead of speak. And that's really the issue that I think people just have to get over that hump and realize that this is not going to be a time when you're going to get any of the convenience that you were used to when you started using Facebook, whenever it was. I don't care whether it was when the platform started in the mid 2000s or maybe after 2010 when it really started to blow up, or even more recently. And I say the same thing regarding YouTube and Twitter. If you're a YouTube commenter, you probably notice that your comments might be getting banned, right? And the thing that I keep encouraging people to do is to say, I am going to seek out a place where I can at least seek out and create whatever I want without people encroaching on my personal freedoms, right? And the response I keep getting is, oh, it's not strong enough. It's not. First of all, some people even say it's not conservative enough, or that there's no, like, the funniest complaint I hear is that the people that they need to reach aren't on it yet. Well, the truth is, if you go and make the decision by yourself, as I used to do, I used to go start new channels on some of these platforms. The best example would be BitChute and Minds. Those two were the ones that I really spent a lot of time. Gab also a little bit. Wasn't always too thrilled with Gab. So you end up meeting some new friends. It's never going to be quite the volume as on Facebook unless you convince other people that have the same issue as you to go over there and try to strike out on their own. And listen, if you want the same experience that you have on Facebook to be transferred to the new place, well, you're going to be disappointed. They can't be the same thing as the place that you left. It's almost like saying that I've taken my house and sold it, and I've moved over to a neighborhood in a different state with a different climate and a different landscape, and now I'm complaining and I'm looking at pictures of my old house, and I put them up on the mantle because I miss that old house that I used to live in. Well, you're never going to be happy then. And don't expect to be happy, by the way, if you stay in that old house. That old house is being infested with black mold. It's being infested with termites. It's basically like a very pretty mansion that is crumbling and falling apart. At least as far as you're concerned. For the people who own it, the people who actually own the house, it's working just fine because they can still traffic in the data of the people who are okay with getting censored and okay with having their voice silenced, or that they don't even have a voice. They have nothing really different to say than what big tech is telling them. So they live fine, and there are people like that. So understand that the increasing echo chamber on Facebook is because some people have decided, yeah, it's not really that interesting. I don't really have much to contribute. Other people are just being shadow banned like you. You can't even see what they're writing. And I have plenty of people I know that are like that. And therefore, it's really just a self-defeating exercise to continue to complain about big tech and complain about what it's doing to you when you won't even use any of the tools that are growing. And they are growing, by the way. If you look, and I have to leave, but I would show this to you on screen. If you go to Alexa, internet web searches. Okay, Alexa is run by Amazon, but they do site rankings according to traffic. And as of right now, two video hosting websites that are considered alt tech or somewhat hospitable to alt tech voices, Rumble and BitChute, are both within the U.S. top 300 websites. Right? So you already, or I believe at least Rumble is. But they're both growing by the day, and they're leapfrogging other websites worldwide and in the United States. And I believe that when people start to really exit the big tech platforms and build a viewership that's comparable to the big tech platforms, we might see a little bit of a change. I'm not going to say that it's a total solution because unfortunately it's a problem beyond tech. Censorship is a problem in terms of the way that corporate America has abandoned the notion that the customer, the consumer, is a person who is like them, that lives right next door, that could be their, the baseball coach at their kid's high school. They could be a person that they buy pet food from at the store, and they're ringing them up at the cashier's desk. Because a lot of these people, they live within the alt tech universe, so they might end up getting their food and vegetables from Blue Box. They might not even send their kids to any in-person activities, or if they do, they don't participate very much. That's the universe that alt tech people, that big tech people live in. That they see technology as basically replacing a lot of human interaction, and they embrace it to the fullest. Therefore, they see very little value in the actual complaints that you're putting forward. Now, eventually they end up having to compensate. They go join other groups that the truth is, I think if you completely behold yourself to technology, you're going to end up living a very sterile and boring existence. But these people they depend on you ignoring that. So they don't want you to actually get to know people, get to share your thoughts, and be a person who is contributing to the conversation as opposed to just watching from the sidelines, because they've already decided what needs to be said. So as I close, you can find me on BitChute. You can find me on Odyssey. You can find me on Rumble. You can find me on any of those platforms that I am going to list in the description below. And that's just one person, right? And then once you look at those platforms, decide which ones are good for you, which ones you think are according to the way to what you want to do, whether it's your promote your business, promote your belief system, promote maybe something that you've written, maybe a fictional book, maybe some artwork. You have to commit to networking with people there, and decide that some of the people that you were used to interacting with on the old tech platforms, well, you tell them, look, I'm striking out over here. I want you to try it out too. I think that is something both of us can really enjoy. And that's one of the ways that you can maybe get some of the enjoyment you got from the BIGTECH websites back, but you're not going to get it back because it isn't the same as it was, and it never will be. That's about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also subscribe to my newsletter, which is below, and all of the alt tech platforms that I've already discussed here, as well as some others that I may have forgotten.